So I just caught a boomer. Didn't have time to turn the camera on. Had to concentrate, but 7 knots on the averager. I'm now looking down here at Pilchuck, which is still blanketed in a ton of snow here in June. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to actually push east and north of Pilchuck right now up this little cloud street. And I'm going to see if there's a place where I can jump the valley behind Pilchuck here and get even higher, because the clouds over Pilchuck right now look a little low, but the clouds behind Pilchuck look pretty good. And I have enough altitude that I can escape out down any of the number of drainages here and out to flat land, and if I needed to make an outlanding somewhere. Well, asking you shall receive. So far this ridge crest run is going well. I've just been flying straight and I've picked up about 300 plus feet. Just holding on this ridge and the southern edge of these clouds here. And we are just rocking along with a modest 60 to 65 knots for the most part. I'm slowing up to 50 when I'm in good lift. It looks a little bit blue and dry out here, so I don't know exactly where I'm going to go next. I still think south is the way to go, but I'm also worried about getting home later. I'm really nervous about getting too far into these peaks, unless I can get to 8,000 or so, because that's really nasty country out there, and I haven't spent a whole lot of time down low in it. And then I'm going to bring it around here. You're going to get a nice view of the north face of Mount Pilchuck. A huge amount of snow is still there. I'm on a ridge top just above the town of Bering, I believe, by where Highway 2 starts to go into the mountains. Wow, there's some beautiful lakes back in here, by the way. I'm just going to go ahead and try to curl this corner, catch those last clouds there. As you can see, south and east here, it's beautiful and dramatic, but huge blue hole and some cirrus down south. So rather than deal with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn around and head back north. Just as soon as I come up to this last bluff here, bluff, 5,000 foot mountain, not the craggy peaks there, but this one right here. I've been able to roughly maintain altitude flying straight along the ridge here and catching some lift along the way. The clouds are definitely being powered by some wind or something, pushing the thermals up the side of the hills. I'm really surprised because it feels like there's a lot more wind than anything that was predicted. Okay, so I was hoping to cut north further to the east than I came down, but that didn't happen. It didn't work out. I came back from Bering on a really good run, back down here over the south end of Spada Lake, as you can see. I've got a good little climb going here if I don't fall out of it. Got to keep my head cranked around to the inside of the turn because Fred Hermanspan in the Chinook is here somewhere. I just passed him going the other way down the ridge towards Bering, climbing now and making lift, and no, falling out of lift. So we need to shift this circle this way a bit. Yeah, like that. That's good. And these clouds back in here look like they're well over 6,000 feet, so I really would like to go north up in the mountains at this point. Everything you can see out west is all bluing out, and it looks a little hazy out there, although not too bad. So, I have made my way north from Bering here, and found myself some lift at the southern edge of the Three Fingers complex here, and I'm trying to work my way north up past this, and we'll see what I can do. I'm at 5,500. I seem to be getting good lift under this cloud shelf here, which is really starting to blow up a bit. So it looks pretty good. We will see. It looks like this sucker is just rocking. Again, things seem to be somewhat ridge lift based today, which is really interesting, given the light winds that were forecasted. I'm finding all of my lift right over little peaks and where ridges, have a long spine that would, you would tend to consider to be lift or ridge lift, or at the very least, thermals that are being triggered by the ridge. But whatever it is, I'll take it, because I'm almost to 6,000 feet, which would be the highest so far this flight. So the clouds leading up to Three Fingers that I thought were going to work didn't quite work. I didn't get low or anything. I'm still 5,800 actually. But I had to duck out around this little spine that sticks out from Three Fingers, which you'll see come on camera here in just a sec. But I had to get a shot of this. This is just dramatic back in here. So amazing. And the snow cornices that I can look down and see that I don't think are on camera here are 20 to 50 feet tall in some spots. They're just, you know, you think they're rocks on the face of the hill, and then you realize, no, it's trees, and the snow is completely buried some of these pine trees off the top of the rocks, and it's above the treetop level. I'm going to go ahead and try to take this climb up a little higher here, and then push to that cloud there, which is building and looking nice. So here I am looking north from the north end of the Three Fingers White Chuck Complex. That's out west to the sound. As you can hear, I've got a little bit of a decent climb here going. It's a little finicky. There's where I just came from, the Three Fingers and White Chuck area. Absolutely gorgeous. I've got the town of Darrington down below my nose there. Huge blue hole, which I'm not going to touch. And my next destination, that big rocky plate right there called Higgins, and that nice big gigantic cloud that's building right there on top of it. So there's a line of clouds running westbound from there, so I can either turn and run westbound once I get off that, or I can jump back behind to the next ridge up and go up past Day Lake Deer Peak area. Here we are coming in hot. I hit some sink on the way across, so I'm coming in right at ridge height. Usually you want to be above Higgins, so we'll see if the rocks are boiling enough for me to get some lift. I feel something. So far just turbulence, not just... There's sink. I don't want sink, baby. I want lift. I need some lift. There we go. That's a good start. There's a rocket ride. So I'm at 5,200. I've had a mediocre climb or two. The clouds seem to be getting a little more fickle, and they're cycling a little faster. So I'm going to have to be careful of that here as I continue to press north. Up ahead, probably lost in the reflection of my logger there. The big clouds blowing up on that mountain, that's Mount Baker. I'd love to try to get up that direction. Okay, so I've gained 1,300 feet. I'm at 6,200 and still climbing. I seem to have one of the higher clouds around. These guys here are a little higher than me. Some of the clouds in the heart of the Cascades are higher than me, but as you can see, a lot of the clouds around are lower than me. And that's leading me to a little bit of dilemma. But in any case, as I come up to max out my climb here, I'm having a hard time deciding where to go. Some huge blue holes back in the spine of the Cascades, and it is 4 p.m. So, yeah, tough to say where to go next. I really would like to push north. Just looked over here, and I'm having a really hard time with the idea of not taking advantage of these clouds back up here. So I'm just kind of duck around and see if I can dovetail around these lower clouds, work my way north, and then pop out west. It's too big of a risk. It is very enticing, but I am going to say that discretion is the better part of valor, and refuse to put myself up in there, because that could be a trap behind those two low clouds up in those mountains. It'd be really hard. I've never been up there. I don't know what the terrain is like. I think it would probably be really dumb at 4 p.m. after a fine flight to put myself in that situation. So instead, if you can see with the glare of the sun, it may be busting the camera out at this point. This is westbound. This is the concrete area in the Skagit Valley down here to our right. Day Lake and Deer Peak is where we just passed. We are along the north-facing slopes, which typically aren't good. And in fact, I am getting a fair amount of sink. I'm going to try these clouds to try to max out a few hundred feet, and then cut north up the valley or across the valley, and resume my plan to try to hit the Canadian border. So this is always an interesting experience. Pushing out across a big blue hole like this. Don't know what I'm going to hit on the way. Don't know whether the clouds there will still be providing a lift once I get there. All I know is that I've got a lot of farmers' fields down low if I get stuck, but it'd be an awful shame to end my day that way. Okay, I'm roughly halfway across the valley. Oh, this is such a long, wide valley. It really makes for nervous crossings. Let's see what this spine has to offer. Well, there's some massive sink. Is there lift on the other side of the sink? That is the question. This is not looking good for me here. I need lift and I need it now. That would be good. Okay, but sustained lift. Sustained lift would be good right now. You got any of that on tap for me? Lift here. But I have to be really close to the ridge in order to work it. And having to come around into this peak in order to get onto the ridge area is just a little bit scary. Got a little puffball forming right here. I'm going to go ahead and try to use it. And if not, I'll cut to this wisp. And if those two don't work, I might have to start heading for concrete. Show me something. Show me something. Feel that. Oh, please, please, please be. Oh. And this guy's firming back up, but God, I just don't want to leave this. I've got it. I'm making a positive rate of climb. I'm worried I'll never be able to find it again. I just don't understand. I think I've got some competing cores here. Holy crap. Man. And into the sink. I just cannot. This thing is just shifting all over the freaking place. Yeah, sink, that's what I want. Right there, that's great. You know what? Screw you. This guy is getting to look really, really good. And I am going to try my damnedest to make him work. That feels like I'm being lifted so strongly right there, but if I turn into it, am I going to be able to sustain it? Are you finally going to let me sustain this climb? Thank you. Oh my goodness. Alright. The interesting thing here is that I'm climbing in the blue. I'm assuming a cloud is going to start forming just above me or around me. Because the clouds around me are forming not too far above my current altitude. I'm going to have to watch for that. As long as it's blue, yeah, there's a wisp, and there's a wisp. And there's a wisp, yeah, okay. I just caught the beginning of this thermal. It's about to blow into a cloud. The thing is, at only 5,200 feet, I'm not sure I want to try to jump up further north. I'm going to go for these clouds right in front of us here. He's got nice vertical development. He looks a little ratty on the bottom, but he's on the front sunny side of this slope. And right now, that's what I would like to do. So my attempt at jumping north was a miserable failure. I got down to about 3,000 feet over on that little plateau ridge thing over there. And had to come back south so that I could either go over there to Darrington off in the distance, or worst case scenario, land on one of these farmers fields, or Israel, which is a pseudo runway on the farmer's patch out there.